abusia moma yintie enkoma aba abonten emra sesia abusia fo ha eda so aye be media juche abusia be se wase enani dedi connect channel so be se wase be subscribe like na wabo aso a share ma fo fra pensem bi etie na abusia omo anya bi etie na abusia eyade a top MPP gurus bi ebeko akopie mu ewo eye court. Yes abusia enkomo we di me pese ya ye yina ye ko na yetie enkomo ni mu ye na abusia ye wi abomode ana ya kire ya adwen ewo eye comment section. Ora sa enwu ye Team Ora abusia sa no omo ebo adwuma ankasa mum yenteni na mrasese a aha eda so aye be media GH yedase
Minister in charge of government communications the list of what former appointees are next week. They are charging them in court, and as I said, court by Attorney General because they have already prepared docket to what so court now or making a list of names. A be Health Minister Honorable Kwajimamenu, Obebo Honorable Napo or a year former a year secretary, a year Asante Bedia to a list of names. This is communications in charge of government. A year Honorable Felix Ofosquachi, any decent committee, Kianeki dockets are ready. A year 2 ministers of state, a year Honorable Machupoku Prempe. Together with Honorable Kokwajima. Ochema next week, a Yanyambua, a Monday air crane, Attorney General prepare doctor, are you ready? Odo Omo Ekojina Court. A list of names, Ninina say or Sissa and Crawford Case Ora is dead. Now prove it to the public. Say, or say he's not so satisfied to mention this name, but as people are still complaining, say Ora is dead, Ora is weak, Ora na me Honorable Felix Ofosukwachi. TV3 na Emma.
For the sole purpose of achieving a political end, the most we can do is to use the law to see if we can carry out some reforms to make the process a bit more satisfactory than before. So indeed, I have sat in cabinet. A bill to reintroduce the tribunals has been approved by cabinet. It should be in parliament by now. Once it is approved, the tribunals will be brought back.
And that would ensure
to among other things, deal with some of these matters and matters involving galamsey and other offenses so that we can speed up a bit. But a slow judicial process is not the same as inefficiency on the part of government in implementing ORA. So what has happened since ORA came? The ORA cases were spread amongst 3 agencies, the police CID, the NIB, and the Yoko.
Before you go on to that, how do you answer the question? You knew about this slow judicial process, but yet made promises that were hinged on a certain pace at which
no, but who spoke about pace? First of all, who said, for instance, that we will jail everybody under 1 year? Who said that? If you can give me that, we will move on. So what is the basis for saying that if after 1 year, everybody...
You don't have the power to jail people.
No, it's just by word of expression. What I'm saying is that, so if after 1 year, as we have now, everybody has not been put in jail, how do you say that oral has failed? Did we ever say that in 1 year we jail everybody? Did we ever say that we jail everybody in 1 week or even in 10 years?
No,
you understand me? If you let me land, you understand the point I'm making? So it's important to dismiss propaganda and separate it from facts. So what have the agencies been up to? NIB, for instance, they have looked into 27 cases. They have produced dockets. In other words, they have invited people, questioned them, cautioned them, and built a docket and presented same to the Attorney General for action. Iyoko, they have over 40 such cases. In the case of NIB, over 43 people have been affected, including Kwajimamenu, who only this week was all over the place claiming that nobody had touched him.
But what happened to him?
Meanwhile, he had been brought in, he had been questioned, he had been cautioned.
When did this happen?
Last year.
Caution on what exactly?
When you are cautioned, it simply means that they take your statement, indicating that you have been brought under a certain...
Question and caution.
On 2 cases. On 2 cases. The Sputnik V vaccine case, and then the Frontier case involving COVID-19 testing at the airport. That has happened. Of course, it is not in all cases that it is highlighted. There are instances where political party operatives mass up and they get lawyers to say it, so then it becomes public. But not all. In fact, I can give you a rundown. For instance, the National Service Authority case, it involves gift to Awari Mensa, and I don't do this with satisfaction. No, it is necessary. Yeah. I don't do this to embarrass or humiliate anybody. But it is necessary to so that people stop. Exactly. So gift to Awari Mensa and OCSB, National Service Authority. Yoko finished it, gave the dockets to Attorney General. He has done it. He is in court. Indeed, I think last week or so, the court indicated that we were going to do case management. It is part of the process. And lawyer Pia Kubu and Martin Kubu will bear me out. The Sputnik V case, I've told you. Indeed, as I speak, 2 dockets are ready. And in the coming weeks, the Attorney General will take him to court and charge him for these 2 cases. Again, the Accra Sky Train project, it involves Solomon Asamoah, who was the CEO of GIF, and then Professor Amayo Kunfi. So they are also in court. Now, there's a case involving SML. Even though the Attorney General, the Special Prosecutor is dealing with another case. There's another case that the Attorney General is dealing with, involving Emmanuel Kofi Nti, Dr. Isaac Kressel, and Mr. Christian Tetesoti. There's a free Wi-Fi case involving Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe, and he himself has publicly said that he has been invited, questioned, and a docket has been prepared. There's a gentleman called Opioluwa Omotayo Ojo. I suspect that he's Nigerian. Benjamin Kofi Jesse, William Entry Dakun, and Matilda Ewia Azuma. They are the persons of interest in the free Wi-Fi battle. There's a National Lottery Authority case involving Kofi Osameyaw, Henry Kwame Asare Yentumi, and Derek Disi Apia. There's Buankra Inland Ports involving Kweku Forie Siama, who was a former transport minister, Justice Amu, John Bernard Cranton York, and Michael Achagwe Luguje. Pardon me if I've mispronounced the name. Then the DRIP case. It's a matter that people have been called on. The likes of Mohammed Amin Andam, the former finance minister, and Irene Nantoshi, the former administrator.
They've been called
and questioned. The former administrator of this Assembly's Common Fund. The COVID-19 Frontiers case, Kweku Menu and Samuel Bansa. The Pualugu Multipurpose Dam, Dr. Owusu Efeyaku, the former Agric Minister. Wilson Kwabena Dankwa, I beg your pardon. Al Hassan Alolo Muntaka, I believe he was in the vice president's office. Yes. National ambulance case, Emmanuel Owusu Buedu.
Okay.
Mathematical set, that's a full expression. Sarah Femi Bedie Tuasante, I believe is the spouse of the president's the former presidential secretary, Mr. Asante Bedie Tu. Kojo Daku Mensa, Benjamin Kofi Jesse, Philip Tetepadi, and Matthew Poku Prempe.
Again, this is the mathematical set.
This is a mathematical set issue. The Moshosho rice case, there was an issue about importation of some rice that was not fit for purpose or something. David Eje Mensa, Simon Eje, Eli Kulim Dogbe, and Patrick Ohini Ufori. Then there's a duplicative digitalization, which is Ghana Health Service and National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Patrick Kuma Buaji. West Blue Judgment Debt, it involves Kenofoyata, who, as I speak, is a fugitive, has fled the jurisdiction. And then there's a 13th African Games. I could go on and on and on and on. So anybody who comes to take,
all these persons who have been
to it and then determine a date that is suitable to go to court. If you go to Yoko, there are some of the cases that were not part of oral. You can only discover them when you come into government, like the National Signals Bureau thing. It was never an oral. In fact, there were many people who didn't even know Mr. Dubois was even a public official. But when we came to power and we got wind of it, we looked into it. Indeed, he was arrested in March 2025. By April, he was in court. The Attorney General has said that he will call 5 witnesses. Three of them are done. He's left with 2. So that they can conclude their case, and then Mr. Dubois will open their case. That is a normal judicial process. My brother, Honorable Apia Kubi, is here. He is a lawyer for Wuntumi, and he will testify that in the case of Wuntumi, actually, I think they've done, you are supposed to do a service of no case or something. All the state's witnesses have testified. So the state has made its case. The onus is now on them to either contest the state case through a submission of no case, which is normal. In the 214 case, he made a submission of no case. So it is normal judicial procedure. The national service case, that one too, I told you that they are doing case management. It's part of the buffer stock case. There are at least 3 people who are in court over it. Abdul Hanan and his wife, and then I think another individual. What do you call it? So the Attorney General has gone step by step to ensure that this is done. Again, in terms of recovery, when the president said Yoko had recovered 600 million Ghana cedis, there were those who said, we should publish the list. I clarified that apart from oral, Yoko is an established organization that deals with regular crime, money laundering, tax evasion, carjacking, cross-border crime, and all that. So in their normal routine course of work, they've done 642 million Ghana cedis recovery. In 2024, they did 186 million recovery. So this one actually is an improvement on that. But in terms of oral, the only time, again, there are two lawyers here who will bear me out. The only time you can recover is when the person has been convicted. What you can do in the interim is that you freeze the assets to protect it, so that in the event that in the course of the trial, they don't divert it and move it outside of jurisdiction. Indeed,
that is why I asked you that question, whether you have the power to convict. And I'm saying
no, I mean the court, yes, the court, when the court convicts.
Your mandate
is prosecution. That's all. And that is what we are doing.
Yes.
But I'm telling you what steps have been. Every case that has been investigated or is in court, they have taken steps to ring fence the assets. Indeed, there have been instances where some of those whose assets have been frozen have contested. They've said that the assets don't belong to them, and therefore the state cannot purport. They are allowed to do so. It's part of the judicial process. Everybody accused must be given sufficient opportunity to defend themselves. In the case of lawyer P. Akubi's client, he would tell you his assets have been frozen.
How much of his assets?
Indeed, I regret to have to. Sorry about it, but
no, the matter is still subjudice. The matter is still subjudice.
Fine.
No, you are allowed to mention those facts.
So he has. Look, we discovered for instance. No, it's not about.
Please go
I'm not. Let me also make it clear. I'm not pronouncing.
No, I'm not saying.
I'm not pronouncing on the substantive case. I'm only telling you
the facts.
I'm telling you the action that the state has taken. So, for instance, on the 8th of January, 2025. It was found that about 50 million Ghana cedis had been paid him from Cocoa Board.
Yeah.
Cocoa Board for some work that he said to have done. He moved 30 million of that to purchase some securities. In other words, bonds. I think treasury bills. And then about 23 million to purchase or set up an insurance company.
Hey, man.
When was this?
Oh, this was in January, February.
Last year.
Yes. So all these assets have been frozen as I speak. Indeed, again, look, even his mobile money account has been frozen.
Chairman, won't
yes.
mobile money account.
Even his mobile money account has been frozen. Unless he sets up another one or use another conduit, he cannot use mobile money, receive or send. So that is the extent to which the state has gone to ring fence these assets, pending the determination of the case. How can anybody see this and say Oral has died? The other issue too is that it is important to do thorough investigations. The reason being that it costs money to prosecute people. There may be cases where you suspect strongly that wrongdoing has occurred, but you may not find the evidence. Yeah. In that case, you don't go at all. You suspect strongly that there must be some wrongdoing, but either the evidence has been so well concealed, or that the information available is sketchy and scanty, so you can't go to court with it. In that case, even if you have that suspicion, you cannot go because it costs money, it costs time to prosecute people. It is state resources that are used to do the prosecution. So if you are not absolutely certain, you cannot go there and waste anybody's time. So it is not fair to say that Oral has not died. And if those who are most affected by Oral, MPP appointees, are saying that it has died, you must understand the political context within they are saying so. So I implore all Ghanaians to support the effort to sanitize the system by holding people who are believed to have offended the state through corruption to account. And then, more importantly, putting the system going forward to ensure that this sort of thing does not recur. That, for me, is where the conversation should be going. But let's talk about 21. So, if 21 billion has not been recovered, then all aspects. That is not the truth.
You have an expectation of Oral.
Sure.
And yet you are having to deal with the weaknesses in the judicial system.
You see, again, there are two strands. You see, there are two strands. We must be careful. You see, we must be careful not to allow governments to overreach. So that interfere in the judiciary. Look, one of the criticisms that we leveled against the MPP was that they were interfering with the judiciary. And I'm sure Professor Adman Bafo has had occasion as an analyst, a respected analyst, to comment on these matters many, many times because the media would reach him for comment. We have said that. I personally have gone on public record to criticize judicial performance and accuse the MPP of tinkering with the judiciary for some outcomes. We cannot come to power.
Well, you've done same.
No. Listen, even the judiciary are not beyond reproach. They are not beyond accountability. So if it is found that the Chief Justice has done things that offend the law, and the process is undertaken through constitutional. I beg your pardon. Please, when you sack Charlotte say nobody has you what is. So you cannot come here and purport. You cannot mount the moral high ground. You cannot mount the moral high ground. Charlotte say was a constitutionally. Charlotte say was the head of a constitutional body. They were an independent body. Yet you remove her.
Even the substantive cases are not even of the same standard.
Why does it have to be of the same standard? What are you talking about? What are you also talking about? You have the right.
Transfer somebody.
I beg your pardon. No. I'm saying that.
You are claiming over 100,000 of our money.
Let me make a point. I'm saying that you, Kofi, and the MPs,
you, Kofi, and 100,000 a year
cannot be the determinants of what should constitute somebody's removal. You remove Charlotte Osei, we disagreed vehemently. People even went to court, yet you removed her. So if the Chief Justice of Ghana is deemed to have offended the law, and the Constitution is followed to remove her, it is in order. That does not mean that you have tinkered with the judiciary. When you remove Charlotte Osei, you didn't tinker with the Electoral Commission. Is that what you did? So the mere removal of the head does not mean that the judiciary is no longer independent. Indeed, since the new Chief Justice was installed, has the NDC not lost major cases in court? Under you, I beg your pardon. You contempt for something that he said. Okay? Kennedy Japon went to complain that the judge is the one against whom he made the statement, and therefore, if he appeared before him, there was likelihood of bias. The judge was changed, was he not? Yeah. Yet when the Honyonuga, if I'm not mistaken, went to make politically motivated statements in the Volta region, and Opuni complained, he was still made to sit on the case until he went on retirement. The judge who came and said that he was going to start the case anew, within a month he was transferred. That's not the point I'm making. So the MPP cannot.
I was saying, I will share your media now. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share. Stay tuned.